The Crack's Imperium had one absolute law: weak predators endangered the pack. Cubs born without the killing instinct were culled immediately. It was survival, they said. It was necessary. Dr. Juno Carver thought it was murder. She found them in the euthanasia facility on Station Theta 9, 3 Crack's cubs huddled together in a sterile cage. Their scales were dull gray instead of the vibrant crimson of healthy juveniles. They didn't snarl or snap when she approached. They just watched her with intelligent amber eyes, waiting for death. These specimens show no hunting drive, the facility operator explained, his own scales gleaming with pride. Genetic anomaly, they'll never kill, useless to the Imperium. How old? Juno asked, her hand pressed against the cold plexiglass. 6 lunar cycles. Old enough to know what they are. Defective. Juno pulled out her credit chip. I'm authorized to purchase xenobiological specimens for human research. How much? 2,000 credits each, 6,000 total. Done. Juno transferred the funds. Prepare transport cages. I'm taking them now. The operator's pupils narrowed to slits. You understand these are predators, human. Even broken ones have teeth. Juno met his gaze steadily. So do I. Back aboard the human research vessel Perseverance, Juno opened the transport cages in her private lab. The cubs tumbled out, uncertain and trembling. The largest, a male she named Ash, positioned himself protectively in front of his siblings, a female she called Ember, and a smaller male she dubbed Slate. You're safe now, Juno said softly. No one's going to hurt you. Ash hissed, a pitiful sound lacking any real menace, but he held his ground, shielding the others despite his obvious terror. Juno smiled. That's courage, little one. That's exactly what I was hoping to see. Over the following months, Juno devoted herself to the cubs. She fed them, not the live prey Crack's tradition demanded, but carefully balanced nutrients. She taught them human language, mathematics, tactical theory. She showed them that survival didn't require savagery. The cubs flourished. By their 2nd year, all 3 were fluent in 4 languages. By their 3rd, they were solving complex strategic problems. By their 5th, they were designing defensive systems that put Crack's military engineers to shame. We're not hunters, Ash said one evening, now nearly full grown, his scales finally showing hints of deep bronze. We never will be. What use are we? You're thinkers, Juno replied. Protectors. The galaxy has enough killers, Ash. It needs guardians. The opportunity came during the Borderland crisis. The Crack's Imperium and the Talon Confederacy stood on the brink of war over disputed territory. Negotiations had collapsed. Fleets were mobilizing. The Human Diplomatic Corps requested Juno's team and her unusual assistance. The Crack's War Council met aboard the dreadnought Blood Oath. When Juno arrived with 3 Cracks at her side, the room erupted. Abominations! Supreme Hunter Krell roared. You dare bring the defective before this council? Ash stepped forward, his movements precise and controlled. Supreme Hunter, I am Ash Carver, strategic analyst of the Human Defensive Corps. My siblings and I were condemned by your law. Dr. Carver gave us life. In return, we've dedicated ourselves to preservation rather than destruction. You have no right to speak here, Krell's claws extended. You should have died with honor, not lived as pets. We've analyzed your battle plans, Ember interrupted calmly, projecting a holographic display. Your proposed offensive has a 68% chance of failure. The Talon have fortified the Korath Passage. Your fleet will be ambushed here, here, and here. The council members leaned forward despite themselves. Slate continued. However, we've identified an alternative. A defensive posture combined with economic sanctions. The Talon economy depends on crystal exports. A human Cracks trade coalition could pressure them into genuine negotiation within 3 months. No bloodshed required. We don't negotiate, Krell snarled. We are predators. We take what we want. Ash's voice was quiet but firm. And that's why your Imperium has lost 6 conflicts in the last decade. Predators are slaves to instinct. Thinkers adapt. Humans understand this. They're not the most powerful species, but they dominate through intelligence and cooperation. Juno spoke up. The Supreme Hunter calls my colleagues defective. I call them evolved. You bred for killing instinct and lost the capacity for strategic thought. These 3 cubs were your greatest resource and you threw them away. The chamber fell silent. Finally, the intelligence coordinator, an older female named Syrah, spoke. Show us the full analysis. For 3 hours, Ash, Ember, and Slate presented their strategy. They demonstrated how aggressive posturing could be maintained while pursuing diplomatic channels. They outlined economic pressures, alliance building, and long-term positioning. Their plan was brilliant, comprehensive, and required 0 casualties. When they finished, even Krell couldn't argue with the logic. The vote was close, but the council adopted the Cubs' strategy. 6 weeks later, the Talons sued for peace. The disputed territory was divided fairly. Trade agreements were signed. The war that would have cost millions of lives never happened. Juno found Ash on the observation deck afterward, staring at the stars. The council wants to meet with us again, he said. They're calling us the Quiet Claws. Some are saying the culling laws should be reconsidered. What do you think? Juno asked. Ash turned to her, his amber eyes reflecting starlight. I think you showed the galaxy something important. That strength isn't just about fangs and claws, that the ones we discard might be exactly what we need most. Juno reached out, and Ash pressed his scaled forehead against her hand, a Crack's gesture of deepest trust. You gave us more than life, he said quietly. You gave us purpose. You gave yourselves purpose, Juno corrected. I just refused to let you die before you had the chance. Ember and Slate joined them, and the 4 stood together in comfortable silence. Outside, the stars burned eternal. Inside, 3 cubs who should have died were changing the course of galactic history. And somewhere, the Crack's Imperium was learning that humanity's greatest strength wasn't technology or numbers. It was the stubborn refusal to accept that anyone was beyond saving.